talking about. We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking? Tonight, let me tell you about the Jarvik heart, sometimes known as the Jarvik 7, but that's a little nebulous too. Glad to have you here. Please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the tiny little things you can do for absolutely free that'll help our little show here if you feel like it. We also have memberships, $2.99 a month. And then Super Chats. Yes, Super Chats. And the leaf blower guy is here. Great. That's tremendous. In addition to the fact that we got a merchandise store at the TomGulleyShow.com, let's get the begging bar up here. We would hate to not have the begging bar up throughout the entire show. Got a few people in the room right now. Sky is here. He says LFG. That's something the kids say. I'd say it, but they'd close the place down because it's dirty. Team Brittany is here. She's here from one of my very favorite shows, one of my favorite shows by a famous law tuber. I'm also going to do this to show that my show is not, in fact, 3 frames per second. Now, it might become later, but right now it's not 3 frames per second, is it? Somebody accused me of that yesterday. But then again, I've been accused of a lot of things in the last few days. And that's why I should tell you that on the heels of last night's show, which many are calling the watershed retrospective of the career of David Letterman, somebody decided to appoint themselves the keeper of fact and was a real tool about it. And I'm going to go over that in great detail before we get to the Jarvik Heart. But Team Brittany, welcome. Always good to see you. Chris is here. He's a moderator in a chat room that I used to go to. I'm not hanging out there anymore. No, I'm not doing that. He also says the dirty thing. Julian Zezer is here. Always thoughtful, always on point, always here with facts and information we all appreciate. A big, throbbing, pumping greeting to you all as we sally forth. Those of you who were here yesterday, and hopefully that's most of you, might recall that at the beginning of the show, I was foolish enough to mention a gentleman by the name of Don Giller, who I mentioned out of sheer, it's not pity, but it's like, look, the guy kept a Letterman page from 2007 to about 2022. And a lot of the things that were on the Letterman shows were unavailable to the general public. And they were all in one place. Many of us watched it. I had some reservations about that, but that was sort of taken away from him. He got an advisory role. I mentioned all of this yesterday. And let me just say that I first interacted with Don Giller, I believe in 1995, if not 1994, on the Usenets with Alt-Fan Letterman. And he was at the time, and throughout the years, a very rude, inconsiderate, self-important, know-it-all jerk. And many people throughout the years would tell me that about him, and I would say, hey, he's doing a good thing here, just kind of blow it off. And then it happened to me yesterday. And I'm now firmly in Team Don Giller's a jerk camp. So we're going to go over some things that he told me were errors in my program. And I have been kind enough to create this incredibly elaborate scorecard here. And I will put I'm scholarship winner. And he is the Don's. That's his name online. And we'll just tally up the errors real quickly for you guys. We'll get to the Jarvik Heart later. Team Brittany, I missed it. And we missed you, doggone it. That's okay. Nobody's ever misses this show. And we'll get to some of that as well, for the love of Mike. Okay, well, let's just go through these one at a time. Now, this is the first thing that I got from Mr. Gilley. But actually, most people might not care, so maybe not. Well, Julian, if you don't care, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think the answer is obvious. I'm thinking you may find this entertaining. If you don't, I mean, you've been around a long time. I like it and everything, but there's no lock on the door here. I'll just go ahead and say it. I was saving it for later, but since you want to throw a wrench into things, When I go on other shows that are vastly more popular than this one, and they ask me to plug my show, I give the information, and I always, every single time say, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I really don't. Team Brittany says, don't break our Jarvik hearts at Julian Caesar. I find it entertaining. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be a jerk, but see, I haven't done anything like I'm about to do in a long, long time. When I worked at a sports station, I had to do it nearly every day. And I think I maybe did it a little bit when we did the self-checkout show last week, but this is important. And I'm not doing this just for me. I'm doing it for the countless hundreds and thousands of people that this guy has been a jerk to over the years. All right? Two of the people that were tagged on last night's post, and I was saving for this for later too, DM'd me and said, what the hell is up with this guy? An author of a book on Letterman that I have spoken with before emailed me saying the same thing. So this is not uncommon. Tom, you missed my other comment. That comment was an addendum to my other comment. Julian Caesar is one of the few people that can make me laugh out loud on the show. I forget what you said. It got deleted. I didn't delete it. I don't delete anything around here. But I accept your addendum to the comment, which is the comment I didn't see after the comment that was... Anyway. This is the first thing I got from this schmo. And again, his right to have Letterman material on his site, to put new Letterman material on his site, was taken away in 2022 when at Letterman on YouTube started. So he says, thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it. Really? It doesn't seem like it. Might you shorten your video intro at 5 minutes? It seems excessive. Now, kids, I don't know how many of you watch live streaming shows on the internet, but many of them, a very large number of them, have very long openings, some much longer than 5 minutes, because they're waiting for people to aggregate in their chat room. They're waiting for the notifications, from YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it might be, things to show up in feed so that they're aware, oh, hey, reminder, I've got that show. I've got that show. And to watch, okay? So this is exceedingly common. Now, I don't know when Don Giller, who I understand has made his trade as a typesetter, became an expert in programming in broadcasting. I'm going to assume that he hasn't. But not knowing that live shows do a long open, well, Don, that's an error. Okay. Should have known that before you started piping up with your opinion. Extremely common. I'll also point out that unlike some shows, my show was posted as starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The pre-roll, if you will, starts at 5 till. So the show started exactly when it was supposed to. Now, I could put that down as another error. But seems excessive? No, I don't think so. Let's see here. Julian Caesar says, I said you should do a Usenet show. Oh boy, that'd be a blast to the past. I think YouTube deleted it because I mentioned something that made the bot think I was trying to post a link. Yeah. All right. So then next, I hope everybody can read this. I explained this to him. First, the show's live. It's archived, and exceedingly common to have an intro many times longer than 5 minutes to allow the various notifications, let people know it's on. Second, kind of sorry for the shout out due to the nitpicking. You'll see the nitpicking coming up here later. Best of success to you. I always say best of success to you to people. Even my greatest haters, I say Best of success to you. And this guy says good attitude. Right back at you. Try the decaf. Now, as far as good attitude, you don't have to believe me. Oh, nary a thought to that. You don't have to believe me whatsoever. Okay? Not whatsoever. Hold on here. I'm waiting for my computer to load something real quick. There we are. I myself went to the knower of all things, ChatGPT, and I asked the question, is Don Giller a jerk? Yeah. And while the ChatGPT, like myself, acknowledged his dedication to stealing content he did not have authorization to use and aggregating it in one spot for his own benefit, it also says these things that describe Don Giller. Know-it-all. Yes. Sarcastic, dismissive. One time, someone questioned his details or permissions knowledge, and he responded, thanks for jumping in. You must be new here. That's who we are dealing with. Other words were irritating, egotistical, and then it said, and yes, jerk. So you don't have to believe me. So nice attitude? Physician, heal thyself. Now, the bottom part you'll see here says, you tagged me to watch it. No, I did not. Whenever I have done a show on a living person or a person who has a museum or some other institution in existence, I include them. I do not include them because I want them to watch the show. I do it as a courtesy. I don't care if they watch the show. It's not like obvious from everything I do on this show that I don't care if people watch it. Have you not seen the shows that I do? The show on lint, the one on jockstrap. I mean, come on, man. The show on eating bugs. I mean, there's no attempt to garner an audience here. Please. Terry Nee, I'm not going to read what ChatGPT said to you. It says something. I mean, if I wanted to, I could post the whole ChatGPT. I did. I summarized it. Thank you. People saying hi to Terry Nee, which is entirely appropriate. Let's see. Team Brittany says, I missed the lint show. Oh, my God. Yes, you did. You did. I'm still reeling from the lint story. Exactly. And who isn't? By God. There you go. Then he says, I found errors. Oh, we're going to get into that, champion. I fixed them. No, you did not. No. Oh, wait a minute. Got to put down an error for you tagged me to watch it. I did not tag you to watch it. I tagged you out of complete courtesy. I don't care if you watch it. I fixed them. No, you did not. My show still exists exactly as it was when you watched it. You fixed nothing. You, in a public forum, wanted to be a busybody and a know-it-all. And had you sent me a DM, I wouldn't be doing this part of the show right now. But you didn't. You wanted to do it in public, so I'll do this. Because why? Oh, by the way, most folks appreciate that. Most would be 51%. I don't know that you have any statistical evidence of that whatsoever. I know of at least one author that didn't appreciate it, and that's a person that spoke directly to me. And I saw a post by another author that also expressed his displeasure. That's at least two people that have published books. I don't know that you have, but they did. Because you did not verify that statistic. I could put it down as an error, but I'm in a good mood, so I'm not gonna. But then you say, you do what you do. Oh, I'm gonna. Don't you worry your pretty little head about that. Okay. See here. I wonder if Don liked the candy corn show. Hard to say. I've never done a show on how to appropriate intellectual property that you do not own or have authorization to use and put them on the internet and then bleat like a stuck pig when certain of them are taken down. I didn't do a show on that. If I did, I'm certain he would have watched it. In fact, I may have called him as an expert. That is funny. The pub says, sup. Happy accident? Well, sometimes. Abracadabra. Nicely played. Nicely played, yes. Let's go to the next one here. Whoops. Already have that one up. Sorry. Let me add that sucker to the stage. Let's get this up full. I hope you were being sarcastic with the I was the first scholarship winner, so my opinion is more valid than your shtick. Twice. Well, first of all, I'm glad you were counting, but I'm going to have to, and I'm only going to do it once, even though you mentioned twice. You said, I hope you were being sarcastic. I was not being sarcastic. I was being facetious. There's a difference, Don. You made an error. I'm sorry, that's going to have to go into the error column. I'm so sorry. Now, I said might just have been much as I'd like to crush your hopes. He responds, Glover, Crispin Glover, just one kick, not many. Don, I'm looking at the official transcript of this program. Nowhere, in no instance, and not one time did I say many. Didn't happen. Now, I did say kicks, but that's two, and I don't think most people would consider that many. That's an error on your part, maybe an error on my part. I'll go ahead and say, sure, an error on my part. That's a push. That's a push. Then you say, not on LSD, it was an act. Again, looking at the official transcript of this show, I say, I don't know if that is true. So that's not an error. One of the viewers put that in the chat. I did not say that was a confirmed fact, nor did I offer it up as such. Don, that's another error. It's currently 5-0. You've got 5 errors. I've got 0. And then we get to something that goes to the whole, hey, everybody go to my YouTube channel where I have aggregated, once again, decades of intellectual property I do not own and I do not have authorization to use. Now, why would someone put that in there unless they wanted attention? Hey, everybody, please go to my website. At Letterman already has a website. That's the official site. That's where I send people. I'm sorry. Now, did I watch your site before that one began? Of course I did. Many of us did. But at the same time, having worked in intellectual property for a television network, kind of had some misgivings. About the fact that you were stealing other people's intellectual property. Harvey Picard, accent on first syllable. I didn't even go back and listen. I'm going to take your word for it. We've got 5-1, kids. Whoops. We've got 5-1, kids. There it is, right there. 5-1 errors. Good old Don. Yeah. As David once said, America is the only country where a significant portion of the population believes that professional wrestling is real, but the moon landing was fake. That's true. This is smug on smug violence. Just kidding. I don't think so. I think it's pedantic on pedantic violence. And if you want to be pedantic with somebody, don't pick a fight with the world heavyweight champion, is all I got to say about that. The pub is laughing. Good. Let's go to the next thing. What do we got here? What do we got here? Boom. Bam. Don Giller. Oh, I already did that one. Sorry. That's an error on my part. Cher guested only a few times, not comparable to Terry Garr. Again, I have reviewed the transcript. I did not compare her number of visits to that of Terry Garr. I compared the fact that, like Terry Garr, she was a frequent guest that was friendly with Dave. Now, frequent, you make your definition, I'll make mine. But at no time did I compare her to Terry Garr in that fashion, or that's just not accurate. I reviewed the transcript. Done. That's another error. That's another error. Brought up Charles Grodin. Brought up others. Said even Cher was someone who came. Never did I put her on an equal footing with Terry Garr in terms of number of visits. Quality of visits? Maybe. But not number. That's another error. Turkatron says, Don's been dominated. That's right. Terry Garr was hot for a minute. Terry Garr was hot for a lot longer than a minute, my man. She was actually nominated for an Academy Award. And she palled. She's in a Star Trek episode. She palled around with the monkeys. Well, she was in a movie that the monkeys made it. It annoys me that Terry Garr isn't spelled Terry Garr. Well, we all have to pick our battles, don't we? Let's see here. Let's look at this one. Warren Zevon on, and I'm just going to assume, Don, that you mean Warren Zevon when you put WZ. Anyone interested in accuracy would have spelled it out on Late Show 10/30/22, not 2012. Well, if you will review the transcript, I actually say I wrote the date wrong. I think it might be 2012. Then, of course, he has to plug his own channel again. You know what? I'll go ahead and take an error there. I'll go ahead and take it. No, you know what? I'm not going to take an error for that. I'm going to take an error for Meg Parsant. And then also a plug for his own channel, not Dave's. What a douchebag. You stole from these people from 2007 to 2022, and you're still, watch my channel, not Dave's. It's on mine, not Dave's. Don't go to his channel. Please. Terry Nee also upset about the Terry Garr spelling. Super fan of Tom's show. Dear Lord, is Tom fighting with AI Tom? Look, believe me, it's not lost on me that we may be similar in some regards. The difference being, I would have approached him behind the scenes, and I haven't been an a-hole to the entire Letterman community since the 90s. And we're talking authors, we're talking regular fans, we're talking everybody. This is well documented, okay? And by the way, had that been done, I would have made the necessary announcement, thanked him, and moved on. Yeah. Let's look at this next thing. Here are the statistics for Mr. Giller's page. Notice it says as at Don Giller. It doesn't say at unofficial Letterman archive. None of that. It's all about Don. Got to be about Don. All right? Oh, it's cut off at the bottom. I'll have to take the begging bar off for a second. All right, there we go. With these ill-gotten gains, 246,000 subscribers, 254 million views, and that's of today. I don't know what it was in 2022 when they took that permission away from him to load any new content up, because it's not his. It's not authorized. Someone else's intellectual property that they, by all rights, should have control of, not him. Know what I'm saying? Don Gulley has a lot of feelings. He sure does. And a lot of opinions. Now, many people have made a lot out of the fact that Don, over these years, he wouldn't accept any compensation. Never would he do that. That would never happen. Never in a million years would Don Gulley do that. Well, a lot of people got to know who Don Gulley was. I can't imagine there wasn't any benefits to stealing all of this content. I'm sure he got cozy with the people at Letterman in some form or fashion. There may have been a wink, wink, nudge, nudge tacit agreement to let him do this. I don't know. But it certainly couldn't have been 100%, since much of this stuff, not much, some of this stuff was taken down from time to time. And again, he bleated like a stuck pig when this happened, when the material he wasn't authorized to use was removed from the page that he, to aggregate all of his ill-gotten gains. But when you say he didn't receive any money, does Don know the words to Gary, Indiana? Gary, Indiana, he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't even know the words to They Call the Wind Mariah. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But when you say that he received no compensation whatsoever, let's take a quick look at that. Here is a GoFundMe for Don Gulley. $15,000 goal, $23,405 raised. Now, I ask you, at the time of this posting, he had 139 million views and 130-some thousand subscribers. And I ask you, if he wasn't using the unauthorized intellectual content of a late-night genius, could he as easily raise that money? Would enough people know about Don Gulley to command such a sum? I'd like to also point out, I donated to this GoFundMe. And what do I get for my trouble? A painful rectal itch of a human being. Yeah. That's Don. How old is his monitor? I don't know. Also, might want to tidy up a little. That's just me. That's just kind of how I roll. But how many people would have known about him to get that kind of cheddar? Probably not as many, is what I'm saying. Probably not as many. I think it stands to reason. And when I say I think it stands to reason, I think it would be intuitively obvious to even the most casual of observers that that would be the case. I'm getting all sorts of X likes here right now. So there you are. There you are. So here's the final tally. 5 errors for Don, 2 for me. I'm going to go ahead and add, and I'm being very generous here. Very generous. I'm going to add 100 million onto Don's. Now, I could get up into those other numbers, but I'm in a good mood. 100 million for, without complete legal binding authorization, commandeering other people's intellectual property. That's known as being a thief, and I can tell you, if they had done it to us at AOL Time Warner with any of the products at Cartoon Network, who mama would you have a problem? Hey, well, why don't I just put the entire Pixie and Dixie catalog here? Why don't I just put the entire Touche Turtle catalog up here? Why don't I just put the entire 3D Invisibles on down the line? That would have been a problem. Why don't I just start making a toothbrush with Dexter's Lab and not bother to license it? Why don't I just do some stuff like that's thievery? No matter how well-meaning, no matter how wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, the people who created it are. That's what it is. Super sticker, 99 cents. Thank you for your GoFundMe. Thank you. By the way, he created that GoFundMe. I know many people who have GoFundMes created for them by well-meaning friends and family. That's generally what I see. So, I think that covers the errors, right? Doesn't that cover the... Oh, there's one more error that I have to put on my side. Sorry. I inadvertently and incorrectly, and I apologize to you, the listener, the viewer. By the way, this show is actually downloaded and turned into audio from some streaming network, so I got to stop with the visuals all the time. When I was talking about Madonna, I said the first time that she was on, she was actually brought on by Julia Roberts. I was incorrect. And thank Don for correcting me on this. It was Sandra Bernhard. There you go. There you go. And then Don can go back to being the self-appointed keeper. One of the books I saw, somebody was talking about it, and he was like, did you see this book? And Don's like, yes, I wish I could have fact-checked it. Meaning there's some things I don't agree with. Well, I think we've proven, Don, you're not quite that on the, get over yourself. You have been a tool to a lot of people over the years. It's not just me. ChatGPT has it baked in. Maybe rethink. I don't think it's going to happen at this stage of the game for you, but maybe rethink how you treat people once in a while. So again, didn't do that for myself. I did it for the countless pantheon of people who have had just a self-important, you know what I'm talking about. There's words I could say that, it kind of the word that Cher said to Letterman. The pub says, I'm new to this channel, but I enjoy what I'm seeing. Terry says, boomer fight. Listen to you, Mr. Older Than Me. And you know what, Terry? I'm not going to just say this for me. I'm going to say it for you, too. I kind of think that we're not boomers. There's like 3 different classifications of when boomers begin. And so because you're, what, two weeks older than me? The pub, it is sarcasm central. No, we're not sarcastic here. We're facetious. There's a difference. You can actually just go. Sarcasm is meant to belittle. Facetious is a harmless, inappropriate. It's a different thing. We're facetious. So yesterday when I was saying, and of course, since I'm the first Letterman scholar, my opinion matters much more than yours. It's an inappropriate comment made in a humorous attempt at levity, harmless attempt at levity. Sarcasm is a completely different thing. 63, 64 is the cutoff. It is on some, and most of them it is 63. But some of them it is 60. You can find whatever you want, man. I made an error. You're fine. You're fine. You're not Don Giller. And by the way, that's the last time we're talking about Don Giller on this program. He said, you do what you do. I'm fine. You want to be a turd in public? I'll play. I'll play. Nobody's going to know about it. Nobody watches this show except the coolest people in the world. What the heck just happened there? Oh, I know what happened. Anyway, removed from studio. Now I got to load up all this Jarvik heart stuff. Team Brittany, you can never make an error here. You really can. Have I ever been a politician? No, but I've worked for politicians. Done their marketing and stuff. Hey, Team Brittany, didn't you think it was terrible today when that stream just cut out right in the middle? I thought that was awful. She didn't seem as... Well, never mind. Everybody's got a right to be the way they want to be. Chef's here. An official chef who can't make errors. Always good to see the chef when he's in the house. Yep. Highbrow. Highbrow what? Highbrow politicians? I've done fundraising for, well, the second George Bush, a couple of U.S. senators. There's some. Jacose, I don't even know what that means, man. I don't even know what that means, man. Man, I don't even know what that means. What I'm saying. Dog, I don't even know what that means. Anyway, as you can imagine, and I'm sure there was a little more back and forth. I don't know. I just chopped out the pertinent parts of it. But it's like I try to do you a solid and acknowledge, and I will say, yes, good job. Way to archive all that. Nice job. Nice job. I had to do it myself at Cartoon Network. All of the 10,000 characters and all the cartoons they were on when I got there were not digital. Had to archive them all. All those shows, Hanna-Barbera, MGM. And so well done. And hopefully you had a life outside of that. I'm suspecting that there wasn't much of one, but fine. I don't think, because he does music as well, I don't think the music that you created would have garnered as much attention if it wasn't piggybacked onto the work of actual talented geniuses over the space of, you know, but whatever. Whatever. I'm getting so many LinkedIn likes right now. It's a little bit confounding. And it's a really disappointment to me because my good friend Jesse X, and by the way, if I could just say, Jesse X is on a generational run like I've never seen before. I mean, that dude is on a generational run. You know what I mean? The guy's on a generational run. There's just absolutely no other way to put it. Hold on, I'm going to load these pictures up, and then we'll cover the whole thing. And this was the topic that he requested. Also, I noticed that he went through and liked all of my comments and all of Don Giller's comments because he wants to stir up a bunch of, but. Chose to do it in front of a bunch of other, you know what I mean? Just not cool, man. It's so uncool. Here's me. I'm the person that is the keeper of all this information. No, you're not. No, you're not. I could get any of this information off the internet now. I hope that doesn't hurt you, but I could. I could say how many times was Cher on, and it would tell me. And it did. Or Terry Garr. Or any of the other things that I want to know, they're there. Trust me. The AI probably scraped it off of your thing. I don't know. Not in favor of that, but it happens. It happens. Oh, I'm showing you some sad stuff here now. And by the way, I would like to thank StreamYard for making it so that I can't load these without them popping up on the screen in real time. Thank you, StreamYard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Well, that's unfortunate for me. That's very unfortunate. I'm going with what I got. So, let me see here. I switched my plates for my dad during the Carter administration. Who's the first president you voted for, Terry? Oh, wait a minute. Good Lord. There's some funny stuff here. My brother and I worked on the Carter campaign. There you go. The chef, of course, good friends with the family member or two of mine. We consider him one of the family. We really do. And he's a chef. And next time I'm in Indianapolis, which don't hold your breath, but the next time I'm there, I'm going to go to where the chef's at and have him make me a meal, and it's not going to have soup in it. ChatGPT said sarcasm has no emoji. The pub says, by the way, I did drop you a like. Thank you, the pub. I appreciate that. You're a fine man. You're a fine man. Welcome, welcome. Everybody say hi to the pub, please. In the 50s? Yeah. Happy to be here, aren't we all? Judy Tester's here. Goat is here. I can't say his full name. Not that it's that bad. It just sounds bad. You know? What do we got here? The pub says, how do you have 1.2 subscribers and there's only 10 of us in here watching? You got me, the pub. It's a tragedy. It's this show, and this is not my words. This is the words of somebody with a big show, is criminally underrated. Criminally, they says. Wasn't me. I'm glad they color-coded those hoses so the surgeon knows which way to install the heart. Why am I even showing that? That's so sad. Sorry. I want to show that. I'm sure AI would find Don 35% incorrect. Well, that's more than he would. Reagan. You voted for Reagan. That was my first, too. Actually, Anderson. Well, that was an early on. Yeah. You must be streaming on another platform also. My bad. Well, I'm not streaming. I'm streaming on Twitter, but I'm also and on Facebook. Yeah, Twitter and Facebook. And then this show, when it's done, there are 3 streaming audio sites that take the show and they download the audio and put it on their site. The pub, you can go to the TomGulleyShow.com. It's there in the crawl. And we got merchandise. We got, I think there's 250 podcasts there that aren't even attached to the video page. Anyway, Team Brittany. Yeah, Team Brittany. You got to be Team Brittany. Brittany's the best. Everybody say hi to the pub, please. This show will be watched in school in 21-25. I hope so. Michaela says, Lemme sent me. That's surprising to me. I have found that Lemme is somewhat indifferent to me, and I don't blame her. But I do thank her, and I thank you for being here. I should have mentioned, during this entire show, since we began, the link has been at the top. For anyone that would like to, come on and give me the business, as they used to say on Leave It to Beaver. Giving me the business. I'd also like to point out that this is not 3 frames a second. So somebody, and they know who they are, can bite me. No, let me take that back. They've been known to bite people. Let me see. Wake up. Jarvik. I'm just doing the Wikipedia on this because I can't, it's, I don't have enough time. I've only got 16 minutes left in this show. Well, I could go longer if I want to, I guess. All right, let's get into this whole thing. You guys realize what the Jarvik heart is, right? Okay, I found you through Lemme. Yeah, I already like Michaela. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. You didn't have to make a production out of it. Terry Nee says, I had yogurt and oatmeal in my unnecessarily large mug. Yes, and you can get an unnecessarily large 20-ounce Tom Gulley Show mug by going to thetomgulley.show.com, or our Cafe Press site is listed in the description. They're just one of the top quality brand name items that you'll find in our store, sure to add a focal point of praise and pleasure to any room. Have a heart. Or 7. Yes, the Jarvik 7. Good to see Rumpled Trenchcoat here. Always nice to see him. I was watching a show the other day that he had contributed a super chat to, and I don't feel that they properly appreciated the joke in his super chat. I was disappointed in the hosts. Terry Nee, you eat like an athlete. He eats like an athlete, but his door sounds like it's dead. It's a long story. It's a long, long story. It's a very long story. It's a long story. It really is. I guess this thing can't start unless we tell you about this fella right here. Check out this fella right here. This would be Robert Jarvik. Yes. Bob, I like to call him. That's Robert Jarvik. Yep. Scientist, researcher, businessman, and he is the guy that's known for most of the impetus to develop what was later called the Jarvik 7 heart. Now, he was born back there on May 11th, pretty close to the birthday of somebody else I know in the chat room, in 1946, also close to their birthday, in Midland, Michigan, where I used to live. Yeah. But he was raised in Stamford, Connecticut, which East Coast people, never mind. Never mind. His uncle was a pharmacologist, but he went to Syracuse University, got a master's degree in medical and engineering from New York University, the alma mater in falsehood of Stuttering John Melendez. Went to the Utah School of Medicine, did 2 years, but then he was hired by this Dutch physician inventor at the university named Wilhelm Johann Kolff. It's some Dutch name. Don't worry about it. He joined the university's artificial organs program in 1971, headed by his mentor. And at the time, they used a pneumatic artificial heart design by Clifford Quan Gett that had sustained an animal in a laboratory for 10 days. But he assigned Robert Jarvik to design a new heart that would overcome some of the problems they were having with this other one. And that's what led to the Jarvik 7 heart. And in 1982, let me just show you the Jarvik 7 heart. Oh, come on. Were we going to be like that? Really? And why won't you just take me back to this? Because you're StreamYard. That's why. Why did I think he was from South Africa? Must be the surgeon who used a Babylon heart. Yes, you might have been thinking of Christian Barnard, who I believe is South African. Caesar, right in between. Don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's meant with fellowship and respect. So in 1982, the team carried out, and this is a thing. It's not like, I think the hearts today are much smaller. And they carried out an artificial heart implant. The second ever. It was 13 years after the first one was done in 1969. And William DeVries was the name of the doctor, and he first implanted the Jarvik 7 into retired dentist. And here's William DeVries and Barney Clark. Retired dentist Barney Clark at the University of Utah. There they are, sharing a happy moment. And the heart worked. There he is. There's him with the wife. You know, there he is. I have it on good authority from Wikipedia. She was a real looker back in the day. So over the next 112 days, Barney, sadly, he required a lot of frequent visits to the hospital. And then he died. Yeah. But it was a big deal, and Barney and the doctor would do a lot of media events throughout this time, and they updated the press on his condition, and the next several implantations of the Jarvik 7 were conducted by Humana. I think you all know who they are, big insurance company for healthcare. And the second patient, William J. Schroeder, survived 620 days, which is obviously approaching 2 years. Yeah. Jarvik was married twice. He had a son and a daughter with his first wife, Salt Lake City writer and journalist Elaine Jarvik. And 2011, she and her daughter wrote the play A Man Enters, inspired by Jarvik's absent father relationship with his children since the couple's divorce. Jarvik apparently liked writers because he married Parade magazine columnist Marilyn Vos Savant on August 23rd, 1987. He died from Parkinson's disease in his home in Manhattan, New York on May 26, 2025 at the age of 79 years of age. So there's your Robert Jarvik, and there's your Jarvik heart. Let me tell you some more things about the heart itself if you really want. If you're really that interested, let's see here. So the new phrase is stop being a giller. Sure, we can start that. We can get that going. It was huge news. Yeah, and it was like big news. Like Carson would make jokes about the guy with the artificial heart and stuff, and then he died, less than 4 months later. Let's see here. Rumple Trenchcoat says it's sad that Clark died early on, but without the Jarvik 7, he would have died earlier and at least helped pave the way for improvements. Yes, and Barney Clark was a dentist, so he was a person in the medical service, and he volunteered for it. He probably knew the risks, and without Barney Clark, we wouldn't have the Schroeder guy, and the now state-of-the-art artificial hearts are put in people that live for quite some time. And it was a medical miracle. Really, really was. Was the point to keep you around until a transplant could be found? Good questions, Julian. And let's get to a guy who might know about these things. Rumple Trenchcoat says, ideally, yes, Julian, with the hope that one day it would become a complete substitute. Yes. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't interested, Tom. Well, thank you, Goat. I appreciate that. By the way, the link is up in the room. It has been since the start of the show. And I think I'm just going to start putting it up at the start of the show from now on. But the link is there. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things that help us with the show. They're totally free. You don't have to pay a dime. Like I say, I haven't, appropriated unauthorized intellectual property of other people that I don't own. All of my stuff is fair use or Creative Commons. And, I haven't done that. If I wanted to, I could just put the entire, Andy Griffith show on a site somewhere and just shrug my shoulders and go, haven't done that. Rumple Trenchcoat says, when you said he's a dentist, I thought you were going to follow that up with he deserved it. Well, no.
I'm a dentist.
Herbie, aren't you finished with those toys?
I want to be a dentist.
Terry Nee says, say, by the way, 2 more times and Jake will appear. Jake doesn't come here. I don't know what to say about that, but Jake doesn't come here. I don't think, by the way, I don't think he's ever going to come here. I think he's been here once. I appreciate Jake. I'm not mad at Jake. But you want to talk about a guy that'll derail a show. And you don't get a word in edgewise when Jake comes on, man. You don't get nothing. You don't get you. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, here we go. Crappy at Life says, he is risen. I am, as foretold in Revelations. Let's see here. Rumple Trenchcoat said, Rumple Trenchcoat, thank you so much for gifting 5 Tom Gulley Show memberships. I'm sure they will all go to people who hate me that have subscribed to the show so they can say bad things about me in the chat. Crappy at Life, happy to be here, Crappy at Life. I tagged Jesse on this in the Twitter and thought maybe he would make an appearance to rake me over the coals about Don Giller, but he didn't. Some good folks caught some subs this time. That's good. Thanks, RTC. I didn't know I didn't have one. You son of a... Anyway. So when this started, it was highly experimental. Barney Clark died on the 23rd of March, 1983 of multi-organ system failure. And despite these complications, they all said this was a huge success. And the doctor who did the implant, DeVries, he moved his practice and started working with Humana in Louisville, Kentucky. And he did Bill Schroeder, all right? He put the Jarvik 7 in on the 25th of November, 1984. And like Barney Clark, Schroeder had bleeding that required reoperation to resolve. And the prognosis was good for the first few weeks. Schroeder was allowed to have a can of Coors beer. And he was given a phone call by President Reagan. And he famously asked the president for an update on a late Social Security check. But 19 days after the operation, Schroeder suffered the first of 4 strokes. Now, despite this, his recovery continued, and he was allowed to live in a specially outfitted apartment near the hospital for a while. And he was using a newly developed battery-powered portable drive for the unit, for the heart, which allowed him to venture out of the hospital for short periods of time. So they're constantly making small, advancements. Health continues to decline, and he died on the 6th of August, 1986, from complications of a stroke, respiratory failure, and sepsis. So there you go. 3 more patients then received a Jarvik, 7, as a permanent heart. One of them had pulmonary issues, was on a ventilator, 488 days. He died. Another one lived 229 largely uneventful days, but had a stroke and died. It was a major stroke. And the third one died just 10 days in. Now, during the mid-'80s, these hearts were powered by large pneumatic drive consoles, okay? And 2 giant catheters had to cross the body wall into the heart to carry the pneumatic pulses to the implanted heart. And that was to keep the thing going, but it increased the risk of infection quite a lot. Then they came up with something called a left ventricular assist device, and that didn't do well, so they quit using it. Then they had something called a paracorporeal pump, where an external pump rests at the side of the patient, and that bred a lot of complications. And then the first, like in 1990 by this time, first patient had one put in with the Food and Drug Administration approval. So various other companies have had total artificial hearts approved by the FDA. Syncardia is probably the biggest one. So as time went along, they got rid of all of these they were able to see what worked, what didn't work, and developed what we now know as the artificial heart, which is a total artificial, heart that is going to remain there for forever. And that also includes the help of a pacemaker and other things. So let's see here. Thanks, RTC. I didn't. Now I have one. Yes. You've been back for 2 months. I can't say that last part. What usually caused the death after implant? It was a number of things, but generally it was a stroke. Now, the stroke was, as far as I can see here, and here you go. Let's let this guy answer it. He knows. Blood clots causing strokes was a big complication, Terry. These folks were also fairly ill, which is why they needed one in the first place. Yes, and some of them were also elderly. And by elderly, I don't mean like severely elderly, but they were in their 50s or 60s. They weren't young people, so to speak. By the way, over the years, if you look at this guy here, this is a relatively hard-shelled, hard plastic or whatever compound they're using thing. They developed softer artificial heart material and used polymers and things instead of silicone. And, you know, there you go. There you go. Like me, elderly, I'm younger than you, champion. I'm so younger than you. I'm so sure. I am so sure. And by the way, they've now developed like hybrid assistive devices that it's not just the artificial heart. There's other things that like ventricular assistance devices and things of that nature as well. And that started back in the 90s, but here's an example that some might find interesting. In August of 2006, an artificial heart was implanted into a 15-year-old girl at the Stollery Children's Hospital in Edmonton, Alberta. It was intended to act as a temporary fixture until a donor heart could be found. Instead, the artificial heart, called a Berlin heart, allowed for natural processes to occur, and her heart healed on its own. After 146 days, the Berlin heart was removed, and the girl's heart functioned properly on its own. There you go. The device has been successfully implanted in several children, the Berlin heart, including a 4-year-old Honduran girl at Children's Hospital, Boston. Several continuous flow ventricular assist devices have been approved for use in the European Union, and as of August 2007, we're undergoing trials for FDA approval, which is much harder to get. Yeah. Yep. Suffering from end-stage heart failure, former Vice President Dick Cheney underwent a procedure at Innova Fairfax Hospital in Fairfax, Virginia in July 2010 to have a HeartMate 2 VAD implanted. He received a heart transplant at age 71 after 20 months on a waiting list. There you go. There you go. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Isn't it, though? And so to us today, the Jarvik 7 heart doesn't seem maybe as remarkable as it should, but back in 1982, the idea that someone could put a functioning machine, an artificial heart, into a human body and have it perform even for the length of time that Barney Clark had his going was unheard of. And the thing about Barney Clark that made him a really revolutionary figure in American healthcare is the fact that he was awake, he was alert, he was conscious and could speak to the press and whatnot through a good portion of those slightly less than 4 months that he was on the artificial heart. You know. Team Britley rocks. So that's very interesting about that teenager, because you would think that the original heart would be removed to insert the artificial one, but clearly that's not the case. No, and apparently that Berlin heart allows the body to, in cases where it's possible, let the other heart heal itself. And I have to assume, and Rumpled, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, that while the Berlin heart is functioning, the other heart doesn't have to, and that's what allows the body to heal it. Because your heart, much like Don Giller and his effort to monitor all David Letterman material and think that he's the only one that does that, it never stops. Your heart never stops. Crappy at Life has become a new... Everybody give Crappy at Life a round of applause. Would you please? Would you please? He deserves it. Thank you, Crappy at Life. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate that That's from Star Trek Continues, isn't it? Not Star Trek, the original series? I can't tell. It's too small on my screen. If you've never seen, I ought to do an episode on Star Trek Continues, frankly. I really ought to. Tomorrow night's show is on caramel apples because we're doing the Halloween candy every Wednesday up till Halloween. Terry Nee is giving his applause. Thank you, Terry. It would really suck if nobody else applauded for Crappy at Life. Here, I'll just put it in the chat. I'm sure that it's Photoshop of Captain Kirk holding a Nintendo 64 controller. I got you. I just couldn't tell. The thing was too small. I'm applauding. There we go. I'm applauding. Incidentally, I'm sure Don Giller will point out I made an error when I thought it was Vic McGog, whatever his last name is. Her original heart was able to get a rest in the sense that her heart wouldn't have to move large volumes of blood. It would still beat, but not be under nearly as much stress. Thank you, Rumpled Trenchcoat. I was half right. Half right. Took some of the load, so to speak. Phrasing. Anyway, tomorrow night, caramel apples. I'm glad I got the Don Giller thing off my chest. Normally don't do things like that, but he wanted to do it out in broad open daytime. And if you want to play, we're going to play. We're going to play. Depending on what caused her heart damage in the first place, stopping to apply the Crappy at Life, it would be able to heal. Good deal. Still haven't watched Star Trek Continues. I've heard it's pretty good. Crappy at Life. It's on YouTube for free. And I got to tell you, it's amazingly good. If you like the original series, you will love Star Trek Continues. The scripts are amazing. You forget that you're watching anything but the original series sometimes. It's so good. It's so good. What a Giller. I like your don't be a Giller, Terry. I really do. By the way, I haven't given anyone permission to take all my shows and aggregate them on a page for their own use. I haven't done that. All right, man. I think that's all we got for tonight. Nobody used the link. I thought for sure Jesse would come in here and rake me over the coals about the Don Giller issue. By the way, I was in a Discord last night and somebody, I'm not going to mention their name, but they're the head of a large show that sometimes comes on here with their cult. And that person immediately knew who the aforementioned person we've been talking about tonight, whose name shall never be spoken again on this program, like Voldemort. And he also instantly knew painful rectal itch. Chris says, great show, Tom. Great show. Thank you, Chris. That means a lot coming from you. Chris gets around. He knows the shows, don't you see? So, as usual, I don't eat before the show, so I'm always hungry. And now I'm starving. And we all know what that means. It means, what the hell is going on here? Oh, I think I know what's going on here. I think the only thing left to say other than, kids, here's a little tip. First of all, final score, 100,006,003. Kids, here's a tip from your old pal, Tom. Even if you think it's cool to take someone else's copyrighted intellectual property and put it on your YouTube page for your own self-aggrandizement and benefit, even if you don't have enough going on in your life that you can sit and categorize 7,000 shows and who was on them and what they did and all that stuff, even if that's the thing you want to do, don't do it. Even if you want to, for 15 years, get people coming to a YouTube page with your name, not the name of the people who created it, on it, don't do it, kids. Don't do it. It's just bound to lead to a road to ruin. Team Brittany says candy corn casserole. Yes. Steal from Walmart, not from Tom. Well, don't steal from anybody. But if you have to steal, if you go to the self-checkout at Walmart, never mind. Ooh, bad idea to be sure. Hey, Rumpled, you didn't see the opening of the show. That's really, I should change the title of the show, but that would give the person I was talking about more attention than I want to. By God, I got to tell you, I love Rumpled Trenchcoat. Forget the fact that he donates and stuff. I mean, he is right down my power alley in terms of TV shows. He knows them all. He's funny. He's not a giller. You know, I didn't, but I can use context. Well, you're a smart guy. And we were lucky to have him on hand to explain all the medical jargon because he knows a doctor. How's your sister doing, Rumpled Trenchcoat, by the way? Rumpled Trenchcoat's sister, and I'm not saying this in a creepy way, so don't take it that way, quite a looker. And when's your next shows and stuff? And when are the Trenchies? Is that what you're going to call them? If you haven't been to Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast on YouTube, you got to go there. She's doing great. Good. I need to have you guys on again sometime soon. But the Trenchies, that's got to happen. We got to make that happen. You know? We got to make that happen. We can get you the free version of StreamYard or something, and you just do it once and make that happen, man. If you don't need people in the chat room, I could do it for you and have you guys on here, and we'd do it privately. Then I would download the video, give it to you, and you could post it on your site. Oh, the Falkies, that's better. The Falkies is better. Our newest episode did come out. Any old port in the storm. Terry Nee, truer words have never been chatted. Never been chatted. Anyway, everybody go subscribe to Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. You'll be glad you did. And you know what? I'm going to watch some Columbo tonight. I think tonight's a perfect night for me to do that. By the way, not 3 frames a second, although it does get worse toward the end of the show. Thank you, Terry. Yes, getting a compliment out of Terry. Terry's compliments come out of an eyedropper. Anyway, with all that being said, I think the only thing left to say is, till next time, we'll see you next time.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I'm sorry, does this seem excessive to anybody? Is this excessive to have a closing? Is it excessive?
3, 4. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking